Welcome in, everybody. So, today, a little bit of news to get us started. The Sandstorm stream, which you're here, that's us, Sandstorm, they're having another builder contest. They're doing at least like 2 of these a month now. And that's just for Sandbox. If you like Decentraland, check out their website as well. You can participate in those contests. But for this Sandbox game builder contest, we're making amazing, awesome steampunk vehicular manslaughter. Wait, no, you don't have to manslaughter any voxels to make your steampunk asset. But if you are interested in participating, I'll send out the tweet. Make sure everybody has. Oh, thank you very much. Slater right here is helping out. And so if you are interested, please check out the tweet. The deadline for this particular builder series is November 25th. And you're making a steampunk theme vehicle. So I got the website here pulled up. So this Get Steampunked theme. Let's take a quick look. There's a budget of 5,000 USD split among the top contenders. First place getting 1,500. And so the theme is Get Steampunked. The world can be amazing when it's slightly strange. It's time to tighten valves and grease the gears. We need a lot of skilled engineers and mechanics to create an awesome steampunk vehicle. To the workshop. Always love the written descriptions. I think that's Oscom that does that. Hey, welcome in, everybody. Vvox is here, Escape from Artist, Vox Machina. We're currently live over on the Twitch SandStorm Meetup page. If you are watching this over on YouTube, keep in mind that you are more than welcome to drop comments either in the YouTube chat or here in our live Twitch chat to get instant feedback and help with your game making problems here in the Sandbox. So feel free to drop your questions. Also, Discord is a great resource. You're welcome to tag me over in the Sandstorm Discord. So just to complete the thought with this contest, max size 512 voxels all around. Max faces 5,000. This is standard for Sandbox, or else it's not optimized for games. The design needs to be steampunk themed, and it needs to be a vehicle. So it can be any kind, ancient, modern, futuristic, all allowed. But steampunk is the theme. A lot of pipes, a lot of metallic metals. I think will be cool to see, like some bronze, silver, copper, all of these various inventions that make up steampunk. So I look forward to seeing this one. This is going to be one of my favorites. Hey, I might even participate. So prize pool 5,000 stand. You have until November 25th to put in your submission. First place 1,500, second 1,000, third 800, fourth, wow, still big amounts for top 5. Yeah, 700, and then fifth place 500. And then 6th through 10th, also getting 100 sand. Good luck and have fun. Looking forward to it. And yep, they got the Google form for when you're ready to, send it in. Hey, Panda Pops, welcome in. So, me, on the other hand, I like to build games. That's kind of like where I spend most of my time in the Sandbox Metaverse. I logged into this trading card game, which we're continuing. This is a series that the Sandstorm is so gracious to let me have. Where we're building a card game in the Sandbox kind of like game sphere. And I updated quite a few assets. I made updated cards. So we're going to be taking a look at how to, make these a little bit prettier. Right now, they're not so well written, I would say, because of the indicators on them. A lot of them also got kind of messed up when I re-imported them. So we're probably going to be making a couple cards from scratch, and that means adding the art, adding the text, adding, these numbers here, and then also kind of like combining them all so that they can be used, for our card game. I've been writing a lot of notes over the last couple weeks as to like how to improve the mechanics so that people can't break it. And that's 2 different types of people that break it on accident, and then people that are actively trying to break it to cheat. So we're trying to avoid both of those. And then on Friday here on the Sandstorm stream, we made a ticking down rope. And so I'm very happy with how this turned out. You'll see when it gets to the end, there are a couple fixes I have to make. Somebody give me an idea. Vvox, make a what are those? An accordion. A steampunk accordion unicycle. So it still has to be a vehicle. That's why I threw in the unicycle. Hey, Oak6, what's happening? Welcome in. So you can see here, my animation didn't loop how I wanted it to. It's also using a door behavior. So, like, it looks great ticking down, but at the end, it looped incorrectly. So I updated it before the show, but I didn't publish the update because, as some of you might know, publishing updates kind of breaks presets. So I'm going to be doing that off stream. But anyway, yeah, that's our rope that we're going to be using as a timer. I think it looks really good. Ooh, oh, Slater, that's a great reference too. The spider from Wild Wild West. Let me see if I can get a picture of that up on screen. This would be a fantastic design if you can make this happen. A giant spider with like cables that allow the driver to like pull up each leg. It looks like somebody made it out of Legos. So that'd be a good design to not steal, but kind of get inspired from. Yeah, apparently there was a like a Lego model. That's cool. Anyway, so other than that, so we're going to be making some cards. I also want to make sure our RNG is working. So our RNG, I designed it well enough. It's missing a couple key ingredients, such as turns. So to get us started, I'm probably going to make 10 turns. And what I would like to do is be able to go through all of these cards. So just to give you a brief description and idea of what you're looking at here, without going into too much detail, each one of these white platforms is using a door behavior. What's going to happen is when it is my turn, I'm having a ball drop, and the ball hits the ground. And at the bottom of our land, there is no ground. So the ball basically dies when it touches the bottom of our land. When it dies, it spawns a new one. And so a ball is endlessly dropping. These white platforms are door behaviors, and so they open and close. So if you didn't know door behaviors, when they're open, it removes all collisions. So I can just demonstrate that real quick with a door. I make sure I use a door that works. Ironically, Sandbox has given us doors that do not work. But we can see here, this has the door behavior. If I approach it, it has collisions. If I open it, we can see I can actually go through not only the middle of it, but also the rims. And so door behaviors have this interesting mechanic that I use in quite a few of my games of just removing collisions from an asset. And so what we're doing here is we're making that RNG of a ball that endlessly drops, and then all of our doors will instantly kind of like go slam shut. So currently they're all open. So these are open doors. The ball will drop. In fact, I can just show it. So when I start the game, you can see the ball is now dropping. And then when I end, or I think start my turn, you can see that the ball had landed on number 1. So it was a little bit difficult to see. We'll try it again. Both of these should be doing the same thing. Okay, this time it landed on number 9. And so that means whatever card is associated with the 9th, platform there, that's going to be the card that we draw on our next turn. And so then it just rinses and repeats. So we can see it destroyed that platform. So now the card that was associated with number 9 will no longer be available. And then the process continues. Looks like it did it automatically. Okay, I saw something get destroyed. Okay, it's just the ball getting destroyed. So the ball is endlessly looping. I'm going to try and time it here. We can see now that it stopped on number 11. And it continues. So, okay, there it stops on number 10. So there's a lot of behind the scene logic happening. And so I need to set up at least like 10 turns here. So that way I can test it efficiently. Because it's not actually destroying some of them. And so this is where my RNG gets a little complicated, because not only am I making RNG, I'm making RNG where you can take out a number. So it's like, let's just take, for example, I'm rolling a 20-sided dice. I roll the dice, it lands on an 18. I can not roll an 18 again. It's now impossible to roll the 18 again. So that's the idea. Hey, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. Paul Life Maybe, what's happening? You got your forever bear. I'm happy to report that I got 2 Care Bears, the 69 and 420. Oh, they forgot to limit the whitelist. Oh no. Paul, I didn't even check. I basically minted 2 and then went on OpenSea and bought the funny numbers. All right, so with our RNG, I need to make sure we have 10 rounds. So these are my like turn trackers. So we can see here, this is turn 6. And I don't know if they're set up correctly. So what I think I should do is instead kind of like turn these off, because they're sending an end turn message instead. So toggle behaviors, I've started to incorporate more into a lot of my behavioral logic assets, to where I can just flip this switch here and then they no longer connect the dots, so to say. So we can see here that anytime I end a turn, it's sending out the end turn message. So right now I've just kind of like turned off this mechanic altogether. So hopefully these 2 signs, which I kept interacting with, one is supposed to be my start turn and one will be my end turn. I'll put start turn on the left. It will be start.turn. You can see interaction, start.turn. And then with this speaker component, and again, these are kind of assets I'm using to like test mechanics as I build the mechanics. And a lot of times with games, I build the logic side of something much before I focus on the storytelling and the aesthetic side. So this might vary for different game developers. And I'm not saying my way or the highway. I'm just saying that's what works for me. We'll start our turn. We'll end our turn. So that was our turn 1 ending. We should have expended a card. So now this mechanic begins, where it's going to pick the next card when I start my turn. Right, so it picked card number, I think 8 right there. We'll end our turn. We can see here 2 carpets were found the ball, which is not a good thing. So there's a lot of kinks that I have to iron out here. It was also brought to my attention that this ball, even though it's got gravity, if it bumps into something, like say a door, aka these platforms, it's actually causing it to bump the door. Like they're kind of like sharing the same space, and they're both at that same instance trying to get out of each other's way. And that's why we can see here that 2 of my platforms were shifted a little bit. That would cause some serious problems. So because of that, I'm going to probably split these up a little bit more. So for example, instead of 1 every block, I'll probably do every 2 blocks. And I have enough space for it. Like the land itself goes way up. So plenty to work on today. I do want to try and keep on track with like 1 mechanic at a time. Me personally, I do jump around a lot. My mind works, it multitasks nonstop. But other than that, if anyone here has questions, anything I can help you with, troubleshooting, whatever, do let me know. Hey, welcome in, Just Gibbous. How are you? Cool. So to start us off, I think that would make a lot of sense for me to split these up. We can see here, I've already kind of like monitored all of my blocks. So I'm going to redo my blocks. We'll have 0, 1, 2. 3. Again, I made these blocks. These are part of my account. They're not that difficult to make. If anybody would like for me to show you how to make, a block, feel free to ask in chat. I'd be happy to, take that detour. So a couple things here. I have this invisible wall that I have to remove so I can work on the blocks. Now I can reach them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we do it again. Using my hotbar really does save me a lot of time here. Cool. So now I can take my 20 platforms and move them to their relative numbers. We're just trying to get this RNG in a place where it doesn't, activate 2 numbers at the same time. As long as that doesn't happen, we'll be fine. So we saw it moved it like an inch or 2 when the ball bumped into it. Like basically the ball was caught in the door for a split second and it bumped it like a couple inches. And so hopefully with these, 2 block spaces, it's not going to bump my RNG and basically ruin the game. How do you make that epic keyboard overlay? Yo, good question. Here, it's called No Board. So No Board, I'll drop the relative link for it. But I customized it specifically for Sandbox. Just search No Board on YouTube. But here is the OBS official link, so you can have it yourself. It's essentially a green screen overlay of my keyboard. It registers all my keybind presses, and you can associate it with whatever letters, numbers, anything on your keyboard or your mouse even. So I made sure to get it specifically for all the buttons I push on GameMaker. I think it helps people understand a little bit more of like how to move around and navigate. Make sure this is number 6. Kill carpet.6, cool. Also might be doing this a little bit too fast to follow. But for those of you that, can watch on YouTube, you might be able to see like how I interact with assets. Yeah, it took me, I definitely spent the time to make it look pretty. But thank you, I greatly appreciate that. Cool. So let's try our RNG again. We end our first turn. So we should see the ball dropping. It landed on 6. So the ball has this window where we're kind of like deciding on what card we play. Basically, during our turn, this ball is dropping. When we finally end our turn, it's basically picking the card for our next turn. So that's the window where we're kind of working through which is the next card. So let's just say we end our second turn. So that means on turn 3, we're going to spawn the second card in our deck. So that time it didn't destroy the correct card. Or perhaps it destroyed number 1 there. So right now it's only going through 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like it destroyed number 1. So we ended our turn. This is our first turn. Okay, that time okay, I see what's happening. Basically, it had already registered that our second card in our deck was being picked. And so now our next turn, the floor 5 is going to be destroyed. And that's going to be the 5th card in our deck. So we can see it's currently the enemy's turn, but then we're now drawing a card, and it had destroyed number 5. And so now on turn 4, ironically, we've got the 4th card in our deck. And so we play whatever card's in our hand, we pass it to our enemy's turn 4. So the player always goes first in our game. Enemy ends their turn. And so now turn 4 should be destroyed when we start. Fantastic. So now I basically have 2 cards left in my 6-turn game here. And so I'll play whatever cards in my hand. The ball will stop. So now the ball was detected by number 6 there. And so that was me ending my turn, the enemy's turn. Now it's my turn again. So number 6 was destroyed. Fantastic. Cool. So our RNG is working as we want it to. There's probably going to be like some bugs and hiccups in it, but I think you guys can understand the deck building kind of aspect that I've made. So if you've ever played a digital card game or any, I guess, rogue-like, the idea is you have 20 cards in your deck. When you succeed on a, against an opponent, so our opponent being, whoever we're fighting, when you succeed, you add a card to your deck and you replace one or remove one, or you can just add it. So I think what we'll do, because it'd be much, much easier to work through it, is you just add it into your deck. And then you have 21 cards that you eventually discard and use every single card. You'll always have 3 cards in your hand, is what we're planning. And so once you reach 21 cards, you've basically played all 21 cards, your deck is reshuffled, and you start from the full number again. And so every single time you win a battle, you can choose to add a card. You'll probably be given 3 options, or you can decide, no, I like my deck the way it is. I don't need your cards. So that's the idea. Cool. So now that my RNG is a little bit more secure, a little bit more consistent, simply because we added a little bit more space in between each of our dropping platforms, I need to work on the kind of overlay of each card. So we're going to take a look at those. I do unfortunately have to make them from scratch. We can see here my old versions kind of got disoriented simply because I had to choose a new orientation. So I made it flat rather than standing up. So we're going to make 3 different cards here. And these were all made last night. I made these. So we'll go to TCG, and I made a fire card, a grass card, and a water card. Then I also made some icons, which are going to go on our character here. I'll just set those there so we know. I do want to swap these. And I'm just rotating them, making sure they're facing the right way. And then I'm going to put the attack on the left and the defense on the right. And it pops. Fox had a question. What templates do you never unlock? What templates do I never unlock? And I guess this is a question for everybody here. I recommend you never unlock humanoids. You basically import them. Equipment, you import those. You should be fine with animals, monsters, basically non-playable avatars, which is pretty much all of them except the medium humanoid. No, Panda says no. Okay. Panda, I'm not supposed to unlock, or I guess keep locked humanoids. I thought you just imported them. You know, I guess that's different. That's not exactly unlocking. Depends on what you mean by it. All right, so let's take a look at our card here. You can see it says heat spray, deal 1 attack, and then it costs 2 energy. So first thing I'll do is I'll swap back to the final camera orientation. So we're doing a locked, I think I liked 24 distance. And so this is going to be our final kind of look. So we can see here the text stays relatively in the right location. What I can do is move these number pads, which I probably shouldn't use number pads. What other assets could I use? Because I made my own number pads. These I basically made like 5 months ago, and I haven't used them since. But they're also much more efficient. And they have numbers on the back. But I'll just stick with these for now. Anyway, the text itself needs to be moved in a way that can be legible. So I'm going to go into the edit logic and do a vertical offset, put it at 0. In fact, it might look a little bit more interesting with a negative number because it'll be under the card, but it should still be legible. Interesting. I think 0 is fine. Maybe I'll duplicate this and we'll see if we can tell a difference. So I'm going to put the negative number on the green. And on the red one, I'm going to have 0. Let's see if we can tell a difference between the two. Well, for one, it doesn't move as far if I go up and down, if it's a negative number. And by default, it's kind of positioned more accurately. So I think we do want a negative number. Oh, let's use it. So now we'll try negative. In fact, we'll try -2 and lower it. And same here. Do -2 and lower it a bit. This one needs to be a much bigger number. We'll do /size to close that. And we'll do size equals 32. I think the -2 actually made it worse. Okay. Go back to -1. This one will also put a -1. You can see here I have a little bit more control over it. The heat spray text, I wish it wouldn't move as much. My player also won't be able to move outside of this very much. It's basically going to be moving left and right, and that's kind of like the extent of it. Fair enough. Just equipment, otherwise it can't be equipped. Gotcha, Panda. I mean, it's a way to unlock them. Unlocking means being able to add nodes, animations, etc. Yes. Can't you add nodes to the humanoid, medium humanoid, and it could still be a quote-unquote avatar? So avatars meaning, you know, like Sandbox, multiplayer compatible. I think we're getting into the logistics here. But essentially under the same guise, so GUISE, that's the word of the day, as equipment. So equipment couldn't be usable if it's unlocked. Probably talking gibberish right now. And Panda's like, what the bloody hell you talk about? Cheerio. Isn't it? What a mad lad, isn't it? I like them. They're cute. Thanks. Perfect accent. Yeah, I've been practicing. A little bit Cockney accent. A little about downtown alley, isn't it? Try this with the black. So do size equals 40, bold, color equals black. We'll do the number 2 slash size slash bold slash color. And the negative number actually didn't work that well. This time I'll put it directly on top, see if that makes a difference. This heat spray text I have not been doing well with. It is not orienting itself where I want it to. I doubt it has anything to do with its rotation. That 2 looks a little bit funky. I might try like a neon purple with it. It might look good. So again, we're only going to be able to move in between like this area. So I really just don't want that heat spray text to move at all. I tried adding like pixel text here in box edit, and bottom line is it takes too long because I would be writing, you know, the letters, and then I would also have to make sure it's centered. And then it's also not guaranteed to be legible. So that's why I like using the indicator. We'll try 0, see if it looks any better. And then I want to try the neon purple with this one. I'm going to pick out a hex code. Neon purple. Blue color, hashtag, hex code, close, start. Yo, what's up, Tom? How are you? Welcome. We're making a card game. It's going very average. So it does appear that the text is a little bit more consistent now. Not sure if I like the 2. So my opinion here is like, instead of putting a number, I'll probably add more gems. So it'll have like 2 gems on the bottom. But the main reason I added those is because I would like to adjust these for future game mechanic, you know, adjustments. So let's just say, for example, people play the game and they're like, oh, heat spray is too powerful, or heat spray is too weak, it needs to deal 2 damage. Like, I can make that adjustment, and then it'll also maybe cost a little bit more. So I'll make it, you know, cost 3. But if I put the gems on the card itself, and same with the text of the card, then I mint the asset, that causes problems later down the road. So that's why I'm using indicators as a way to customize it a little bit better. I didn't like the neon there. We'll try maybe a yellow, because it's like a contrasted color. I think those are more complementary colors. Color theory is fun if you're good at it. Save our progress. I'm doing well, thanks, Tom. If you have any questions for me or Slater8 here about Sandstorm or about making games, you know, in Sandbox, feel free to ask. I'm happy to like introduce core concepts, you know, like quests, do a little detour. Like, we're here for the community, not for Halfd0rk's card game. Nice. The heat spray text is in a really good spot now. Might move it up a little bit more, but it's legible, and I think that's what's important. And then basically I'm going to be making an asset to where rather than picking it up, it's going to like select it. So I'll have like an outline of yellow, and then the player will pick a target. And so if it's a buff, like let's just say I can target my own units, that'll be an option. Or if it's an attack, I can't target my own units and I have to pick an enemy. Also, the yellow looked hideous. And I might put it to the left or the right. We'll try just white and to the right. This a little bit further north. I mean, it's pretty much there. The 2 is also a little bit too big now. It's further south, and we'll keep the negative. And I'll lower it to like 32. Fine. Even more. Very hard to read it. Not sure how else I would do it, other than maybe hollow out the middle and make it bigger. It's a good start, though. You can see it actually moves too much, though, and I really don't like that. I don't like how far it moves. If I change this to 0, moves a little less, for sure. I think it has a lot to do with like where the player is positioned. Got the 2. Yeah, I'm liking it. Cool. All right, so now we're going to make the other ones, and then we're going to save them as presets. So this number here, what does this do? Oh, it's just another deal 1. Duplicate these, and move them over. One I think I called Poison Spit. And this one will inflict poison. And so this will be a status effect. Do I think this needs to stack? No, but it should be consistent. So if we think about Poison Spit, like it needs to be removable. So basically all decks will have like a status remove. So let's say, for example, my Firefly will have like a cleansing fire ability. And so what that'll do, it'll remove any status effects on my character, such as poison. The Poison Spit doesn't really do anything other than inflict poison. And so basically poison will be a mechanic that deals 1 point of damage every single turn until it's removed. And so my Firefly would have to remove it using his own ability. That's the idea there. Sure that's centered. This one here will probably cost only 1 to use. And I think each turn, we're going to have 3 cards in your hand. You can spend all 3 cards if you want, if you have the energy for it. You'll have up to 4 energy per creature. I'm still deciding on this, obviously, but you'll have 3 energy per creature, and you'll have 2 creatures. And then each creature will have its own deck, like its own cards to pull from. And so you'll have 3 cards on the left, 3 cards on the right. And then at the end of your turn, it's kind of like picking one of the cards. I think that makes more sense. Yeah, so we'll have like maybe 5 energy between the 2 of them. And so let's say you have a card in your hand that costs 3 energy for this character and a card that costs 2 energy for this character. You could use both. And you'll have 5 energy total. I think it makes sense. I know I'm kind of like brainstorming while we're doing this. Cool, so inflict poison, heat spray, poison spit. We gotta lower everything a little bit. There's our poison spit. We just got to raise the card a little bit. Move this one to a little. Not going to be perfect, but I always want it to be. So one thing I don't like with a recent update is they've removed the ability to shift-click inside of indicators, so I can't like break the line. However, I should be able to add a couple extra spaces, and it might fix that for me. There it goes. So now we have the inflict poison, and it's on 2 lines. So that's what we wanted. Well, I do like the idea of having multiple crystals that kind of represent the cost rather than the numbers. So I think that's probably what I'll do. The only problem then is my text needs to be able to fit above it, which shouldn't be too hard. Epic game. Thanks, Gibbous. Should be fun. Move that a little bit. Move this up a tad. And I think I'll probably be testing it before I commit to it. For now, we'll have the 1 and 2 down there. We can see here we have got poison spit, inflict poison, and heat spray, deal 1 attack. This is not perfect yet. So far, so good. So yeah, just a reminder, while you guys are here, Sandstorm revealed a new contest, a building contest. So if you guys want to try your hand at Vox Edit, if you're new here, there's a steampunk-themed building contest where you can build assets, much like the ones I've built, such as these cards even. But for this contest, the theme is vehicles and steampunk. So if we just take a quick look while you're peeking in, the world can be amazing when it's slightly strange. It's time to tighten valves and grease the gears. We need a lot of skilled engineers and mechanics to create an awesome steampunk vehicle. To the workshop. So build a steampunk-themed vehicle, 512, maximum size, so it can't be a giant vehicle. Max face is 5,000. That makes it efficient for game design and development, and you'd be able to sell it on your own. So steampunk themed and a vehicle. So great prizes here. 5,000 sands split amongst the top 10. So if you're interested in starting to build, I know some of you are probably players from the last alpha season, and so maybe you haven't exactly explored the creative side of Sandbox yet. Well, this is a great opportunity. Sandstorm does 2 of these contests minimum per month, and so Vox Edit, there's always contests going on. So do check it out. And yeah, here's the link for Vox Edit if you want to get started. They actually updated it today even. So those of us that are a little bit more set in stone box edit, you'll probably have to update it if you haven't already. Anyway, back to our little game here. Let us finish the snowball here. I'm going to duplicate the text that I was working on. Put it on top of the card. Change the name. This one is Snowball. This one will be deal 1 point of damage, which I could just copy the text here. And then down here, it'll be 2 points. We'll say anything that deals, quote unquote, 1 point of damage will cost 2 energy. And the way I'm starting to consider their health pools is in a way that can make this game playable without the sandbox. So I've started to consider like a literal card game or a literal board game where you're playing, an opponent across the table from you. And so I think I'm going to do 20 health per character, per creature. That'll make the game a little bit faster, and you'll be able to track it using a D20 dice, which I wish I had one to show you. But if you guys haven't seen a D20 dice, these are very popular in Dungeons and Dragons. And so this dice will also kind of be the health counter if you were playing the game across the table from somebody. And then the way I was considering doing the energy was to use a D4 or a D6. I think a D6 would probably make more sense. And then poison, I would put a D6, and poison itself could stack. I think having a stacking poison effect might be fun. It also might be like super dangerous. And then another thought I had was you can't have a deck full of fire spit, for example. You can't have 20 fire spits in your deck. So instead, I considered having a maximum of 1 copy per deck. So I can have 2 fire spits. I can have 2 poison spits. And so let's just say, I'm playing and my enemy isn't removing the poison I put on. Well, by the end of the game, they might have like 4 poisons, and that's what won me the game. Halfd0rk save makes me nervous. Thanks, Slaterade. I can just watch the stream, Slaterade, and be able to, just repeat what I've done. Mistakes and all. We got our snowball, deal 1 attack, 2 energy at the bottom. Hey, Jazzwolf, welcome. How are you? Got snowball. I think I can just move this down and do the same thing. Oh, wrong way. Move it up. So we're trying to center snowball text there. One attack. Inflict poison. Deal 1 attack. Yeah, I'm still not sure of how to do the energy. I think it makes more sense to have the actual color markers. We'll see. We're going to work through it. So other than that, what else did I make past weekend? Oh yeah, we made this. So I made an asset that when it spawns, it basically starts moving. And the way I set it up is when I use it, it despawns. It's basically using a door behavior. And so by using the relative card, so let's say that was the fire spit card. Does this do it? There we go. So by using the relative fire spit card, it's spitting out the door message to open it or close it. It's both door and closed. And that just kind of like runs its way over to my enemy. And then what's cool is I can just rotate it. So this little fire spit, I would have two versions of it. Both of them are using the projectile animation. And because this is a 2v2 kind of card game, basically I'll have one pointed at my frog and then one pointed at, the enemy's bug. Yeah, I'm going to probably be making a lot more cards for the next time that we play and work through this, very RNG heavy kind of card game. But I appreciate everybody for just tuning in and hopefully learning something. And if you want to learn something, ask questions. Feel free. Loving the look. Thanks, V. They are definitely inspired by some of the more popular games like Hearthstone. So far, so good. So I'm going to work a little bit more on our RNG and make sure that's up to snuff, as they say. Who says that? I says that. Let's watch it in action. So we can see here, I start the game. When I start the game, I already have 3 cards in my hand. I played my first card. First cards has been spent. I end my turn. It's my enemy's turn. So I should be drawing a card. I don't think I have set up yet. So the very first card draw was not set up. We'll see what happens when I start my turn. You can see the ball is continuing to drop. I end my turn. It's the end of turn 2. Enemy ends their turn. Now, one of these platforms should be missing. I put my ball all the way at the top, so it's kind of hard to tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't think any of them are missing. Start my turn. So this is turn 3. The ball should have landed on one of those. Now it's the end of turn 2, I believe. So now turn 3 is starting. Now it's finally catching the ball, but are none missing before? All right, so we need to, I think, move my spawner. So this is where the ball is spawning. I'm going to move it down to the ones that are working. I think I only set up 1 through 10. I'm going to put it right here, right where 9 starts. We'll try it again. I also can't really zoom out that far to see all these now that they're so tall. So instead, I'm going to make myself like a little kind of like viewing booth so I can see all of them better. We'll make it out of 1s because I am number 1. Cool. So now I should be able to see this a little bit better. So we start our turn. We don't draw any cards on turn 1. End our turn. It's the enemy's turn. We can see that the number 9, it stopped on. Now it's falling again. Start our second turn. It stopped on number 2. End our turn. Number 2 has been chosen. So it does appear that my mechanic currently needs a little bit more work with the first turn specifically. You can see now it's selected card number 9. Enemy ends their turn. I start my turn. When I start my turn, it draws card number 9 because it was already selected. And now, during this turn, it's selected number 1. So I can end my turn, start my turn. Should destroy number 1. It didn't destroy number 1. We gotta figure that out. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff I need to look at behind the scenes, but I'm gonna be taking a look at it anyway while we got the time. That's where my mind is like, what is happening? So we got end turn, start turn. It starts closed. This one's waiting for killcarpet.1 message. And it's also detecting our freeze mechanic. So this is the core of my RNG is I have an asset spawning on the ball when it's stopped. So let's find that asset that spawns on the ball. Maybe one of these, I think. It might also be a spawner. That's spawning our hit freeze. I think it's this one. Nope. Here we go. So this here, this health is what is kind of like sending out the messages because it's spawning exactly where the ball is. And because of the tag on it, it's being detected and telling my game, hey, this is the message associated with the card that you are drawing. And so it's doing that by detecting this asset here. And this asset is respawning on the ball specifically. And then it's also being destroyed, so like permanently destroyed. So start.turn permanently destroys this particular asset. And that's what this spawner is for. So this spawner makes a new one. And so it's like an endless cycle of I'm spawning and destroying assets. We'll be able to see it a little bit better now that it's in front. The first turn did not work that well, so we'll just skip to turn 2. Now we're on turn 2, the ball is dropping. On turn 3, it's going to take card number 9. You can see it's stopped on card number 9. I might have been clicking through it too fast. It didn't give it enough time. Same thoughts. Thanks, Oak6. Much appreciated. There's a lot of advanced mechanics going on behind the scenes, and every couple days I don't spend working on them. I have to like spend an extra amount of time to catch up. So I honestly, I need to do a lot of work outside of the stream just to make sure this RNG is, you know, like flowing properly. This is waiting for a spawn freeze message, which I believe is coming from these. So end turn, sending out the ball spawn message. Start turn is sending out the spawn.freeze message. End turn spawns the ball. Do I have a ball already spawned? Nope. Also have a start game message. I think start game message was maybe something I needed. Do start.game. We'll see if that improves my workflow at all with these assets. Now the ball immediately begins dropping on my turn 1. So basically, the game has started. Ending the turn, landed on number 9 here. When the enemy ends their turn, the ball should begin dropping again. Now it's my turn. So I start my turn. I should have drawn number 9. So that first turn, I think there's something missing, but I believe it's going to start working again. So we can see it's selected number 8 now. And so I started my turn, I drew number 8. This time, it's selected number 9. I start my turn. It should have destroyed number 9. It might be something to do with number 9 as well. Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot to kind of work through with this, but we are at the end of our time, so I want to thank you all for watching. If anybody ever has questions, and it doesn't have to be related to my game, it can be in fact related to your game, feel free to drop them here in the live Twitch stream chat. I'll be back with the Game Maker side of this on Monday next week, but on Thursday, same time, 1 p.m., I'll be in Vox Edit, and we'll be working on more assets. I would love to make some cool animations specifically. So like our little fireball here, that not as that cool. Let me put it. Here we go. This guy. So we're going to be spending the hour making some custom animations, such as those for Poison Spit, Snowball, and then a number of other cards that I've already started. We're going to have like a draw card mechanic. We're going to have some defensive abilities. So we'll have like a giant shield spawning on our allies. We'll have like a poison effect that maybe has like a dripping like poison look. A lot of things that we can add to our game as we're working on it. So I'll make sure to save, and we'll see if anybody's currently live. Oh, the Sandbox game is live. Let's send a raid their way. I think that's going to be our friend Panda Pops and Vpire. So thank you everybody for watching.